Theology and the Art of Temptation. Notes from the Other Side. The Assignment. In the dim, flickering light of his infernal study, Doctor Freefall, that seasoned demon who was renowned for his cunning, reclined upon a plush, clawed armchair. His long fingers traced the pages of a manuscript freshly retrieved from the fortress, a fiery discourse entitled, "Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God. Their foot shall slide in due time." The fortress was a desk, a behemoth fitted with partition drawers and bookshelves with sliding compartments. It seemed to groan under the weight of its owner's intellectual and spiritual endeavors. It was a battleground of ideas where war was waged against false religion, ignorance, and doubt. At this station, its owner would spend up to 13 hours each day poring over his notes and manuscripts, thinking, reading, and writing. Freefall knew his behavior well. He had been silently observing the subject for some time. Freefall's assignment was a particularly vexing one. The Ministry of Obfuscation and Misinformation had tasked him with undermining Edwards, a central figure in the Great Awakening. The file on Jonathan Edwards was thick. Freefall knew that his subject would require great attention and study. He opened a large leather book. At the top of the first page, Dr. Freefall wrote in a large dramatic hand, "Theology and the Art of Temptation." Already he sensed that Edwards would possibly be his life's greatest work, and this was saying much, for Freefall's life began during the days of Gilgamesh and possibly before. Edwards' sermons had a fervor that stirred men's souls, drawing them closer to the enemy. This particular sermon, with its vivid descriptions of hell and eternal torment, was intended to instill piety through terror. As Freefall read, he sneered, "How quaint," his voice dripping with venomous sarcasm. "Edwards doth believe that fear might drive them into the arms of the enemy." He chuckled, a low, rumbling sound that echoed throughout the cavernous chamber. Though Edwards' words were designed to save souls, Freefall perceived them as ripe for exploitation. For he knew that fear alone, without a true understanding and love, could lead mortals into the depths of despair, a state most advantageous to the infernal cause. As he continued to peruse the manuscript, a cunning plan began to unfurl within his mind. With a clap, his apprentice Slidefoot, a junior tempter of some promise, was summoned to his presence. "Attend carefully, Slidefoot," Freefall commanded, thrusting the manuscript into his hands. "This sermon is a blade that cuts both ways. Mortals who peruse it may indeed be terrified, yet fear can also paralyze and distort. It can cause them to perceive the enemy as a tyrant. What better way to drive them from him than to wield his own tools against him?" Slidefoot's eyes gleamed with admiration and curiosity. "Pray, how shall we proceed, Doctor?" "Encourage their focus upon the wrath herein depicted," Freefall instructed. His smile widened to reveal large, gleaming teeth. "Lead them to believe they are beyond redemption. Foster within them a sense of hopelessness. And for those who might turn to the enemy in desperation, whisper doubts about his forgiveness. Make them question whether such a terrifying God could ever love them." Slidefoot nodded eagerly, drinking in the twisted wisdom of his mentor. He could already envision the mortals gripped by fear, spiraling into despair and turning away from the light they so desperately needed. "And remember," Freefall added in a darkened tone, "always keep them wavering betwixt extremes. Should they fear too greatly, they may seek the enemy's comfort in earnest. But should they fear too little, they shall grow complacent. Balance their dread with distraction. Keep their minds in perpetual turmoil, and they shall never find true peace. In the days that followed, Freefall and Slidefoot set their plan into motion. They began sowing seeds of doubt and despair among the congregants who heard Edward's sermon. They whispered to them in the dead of night, stoking their fears and magnifying their sense of unworthiness. They delighted in the torment of those who, gripped by terror, began to question the very nature of the God who they'd once sought to serve. Yet, despite their best efforts, not all were lost to darkness. For some, the fear kindled by Edward's words ignited a deeper search for truth and a genuine repentance that could not be swayed by these evil machinations. And so, amidst the turmoil and the fear, the light of the Great Awakening continued to shine, a divine light that even Freefall's most diabolical plans could not entirely extinguish. Undeterred, Freefall continued to study Edwards and devise the timeless strategies recorded in his notebook, Theology and the Art of Temptation.